back, everyone, to Your Comments Matters YouTube channel. I'm your host, Carol Love, and we're continuing our videos, our stories about the job market right here in America. So today's video is coming from ABC News, and the title of this video is called Landing a Job in 2026. So as you can see from the image here, it says now hiring, apply online. That's where you have to find jobs now is all online. No more going to the door, to the offices and going in and saying, "Are you hiring?" No more handing your resume in physical, is it? Everything is online. So let's take a look at the video and let's see what is going on with landing a job in 2026, how you can get one, what are some tips that they might can give. All right, let's take a look at the video, shall we?
A new report shows the U.S. economy added 50,000 jobs in December. That number fell short of expectations, fueling concerns of a slowing labor market. Now, with hiring at a standstill and wages stagnant across the country, it's increasingly hard for Americans to remain optimistic about their finances. And
that's right.
That brings us
can't
to
pay your rent, can't pay your car payment.
This economy.
In this economy we've been on.
Just 49,000 jobs added per month, which represents a significant slowdown from the year prior. Isaiah Hankel is the author of Too Good to Get Hired and is the founding CEO of Overqualified. He joins me now to help unpack this for us. Now, Isaiah, I got to ask you, new year, no offers. What is causing this tightening in this job market?
Great question, Ike. So a lot of it has to do with these new AI hiring systems that are based on predicting who's the most likely to stay at a company for 2 years or more. That's the average 2-year retention rate that employers they kind of judge whether or not a hire was worth it. They don't leave before 2 years. What we've seen happen over the last few years, it's kind of a race to the bottom of who's likely to never leave a company, which means people that are the most skilled. Very often people over 40 degrees, people who did everything right, they're having the hardest time getting hired. We've heard the phrase white collar recession, overqualified crisis. That's what's happening in large part today.
Now, you talk about AI and how it's impacting both younger job candidates, but also those with more experience and credentials. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, think of it as like an upside down U, right? So you have people with very little experience getting or trying to get their first entry level jobs, the fresh graduates on one side of the U, right? The upside down U on the lower side. The other side, we have people that are over 40, over 50. They got laid off, former senior vice presidents, right? In the middle, and there's a saying that we often refer to in the job search industry for AI is the only good age for AI to hire you is 35, right? Right in the middle. So those people seem to be able to get through. But anyone on either side of that upside down U can't get hired. So you have people that are the fresh graduates, they're being replaced by AI in large part. And then you have the people that have been laid off for being maybe too expensive, too much of a flight risk. Maybe they'll retire, for example, because they're a little bit older. They're also being boxed out of the job market. And a lot of these jobs, they've been offshored, outsourced as well for similar reasons, because they can combine AI with that offshoring or outsourcing.
Now, what advice do you have for people who are trying to land a job in this market right now?
There's a really good study, and it came from Roman Galperin out of Johns Hopkins, I think in combination with Stanford University, Carnegie Mellon. It looked at these 3 different factors on how you could show an employer that whether you're older or even a fresh graduate, that it could be helpful in terms of getting hired. So number 1 was showing your commitment level, using longevity language. I can see myself here for the rest of my career. If you're talking in theory, it's okay to say that because you don't know what's on the table yet. The second thing is being organizationally focused instead of self-focused, right? So if you're a bit older, don't say, I have 20 years of experience, I've done it already, right? Instead say, I want to be a part of your culture, your mission. And then finally, show the company you apply to that company specifically. They're your top choice for XYZ reasons. Multiple companies can be your top choices for different reasons. They want to see that you don't just want any job, you want their job. That's what the science shows.
All right, pay attention, folks. Pro tips, Isaiah Hankel.
All right, we want to thank you, Isaiah, for those tips for people that are trying to land a job, because a lot of people have lost their jobs. And so did you guys hear how he showed the difference with the older workers and the younger workers? And did you notice how he was saying that AI is making the decisions on who's getting hired, who's more apt to be looking for jobs and get a job and giving tips to them. So I'm telling you, the job market today, if you can get a job, hold on to it as long as you can. But did you notice also that the U.S. economy added only 50,000 jobs in December of 2025, far below the expectancy that they were looking for. And so now this new AI hiring system, like I said before, it's affecting their hiring and firing of people too. And so right now, the U.S. unemployment rate is at 4.4%. So that's a lot of people that still are looking for jobs. So, like you said, it's called the white collar recession. Never heard it put that way, but that's what it is. All right, then, everyone. So, if you're a part of the system now where you have lost your job, you probably just got hired and you probably anxious, am I going to get fired later on, or what will happen? You don't know. Well, if you heard those tips from Isaiah, you probably want to write them down and try to follow them as well. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get into some comments and see what our commenters have to say about landing a job in 2026, shall we? Let's take a look at our very first commenter, and it's coming from YT Dan. Dan says, it's a job lottery, not a market. Ooh, he got 1,600 likes on that comment. Ooh, you right about that, because if you got so many people out of a job, everybody ain't gonna get that job. You may have a job, one position, but you got maybe what 5,000 people applying for that one job. It's a lottery, not a market. Good point. Like that. I like that comment. Let's take a look at another commenter from Freelish. Okay. Freelish says, can't find a job, can't find a partner, can't find housing. Why should we participate in this society anymore? He got 805 thumbs up on that and 333 replies. You just about right. Can't get nothing. Everything. Can't find a job. Can't get a partner. Can't find a house. It's a mess out there, isn't it? Oh my goodness, you are so right. What a comment. That comment mattered. Let's take a look at another commenter. This one is coming from Shrek Gamer. Says, go to college and you'll get a good paying job. Is such a lie. You telling the truth. That is so true. Now you go to college, now you're in debt. You got all these student loans and you can't even come out and get a job that you majored in. You probably have to get a part-time job at a fast food restaurant just to try to make ends meet. You ain't gonna make all the ends meet, but you get some of the ends to meet. But why go to college if you now can't find a job to meet your education that you've been paying for, that you got these loans out for? I swear it's a mixed bag of situations that we're in, isn't it? Take a look at one more commenter. We're going to take a look at Marsha Reefy. Says, college graduate unemployment is way higher than 10%, and its underemployment is definitely over 50%. That commenter, Omar Sharif, got 833 likes on that comment. That comment mattered, right? Because you probably can sympathize with what he's saying. You can relate to what these commenters have to say here on today. So like we just said, you graduate, you can't even get a job, but you got it on your resume. I just graduated from this university. I just graduated from this college. It doesn't matter now. It's almost like these corporations don't want the college educated because you're going to want more money. They probably get someone that don't have the education. You can train them cheaper than what they can pay you with a college education. That's that's my comment on that one. Okay. All right then, everyone. Hey, listen, I want to give a shout out again to all of our commenters that commented today on this show. Thank you, YT Dan, Freelish, Shrek Gamer. Thank you for Omar Sharif as well. Why is your comment here? Because it matters. A lot of people agree with your comment, and so did Miss Love too. Great comments here on today. All right then, everyone, that's going to do it for the show here on today. I will see you when on the next video. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to your Comments Matter YouTube channel. Hope to see you on the next video. Thank you and take care.